Right?
Hi, everybody.
Didn't sound as bad as it. I thought it would.
Yeah. Welcome back, everybody. We're doing a little special Star Wars episode.
Not
because,
special. It's not special. It's because Tommy forgot to watch The Mandalorian, so we just turned this into a Star Wars episode.
Yeah. The Thanksgiving Star Wars special.
Oh, Thanksgiving special is next week. This is Star Wars.
Okay. But yeah, we're doing a little Star Wars episode. And this is an interesting topic, specifically because I think Michael and I's hottest or most egregious debates,
our highly contested debates are
they all come from Star Wars. Or not all of them, but they mostly, they revolve.
Yeah, it's funny because I find that with you guys, with my friends from home, I disagree entirely, pretty much on Star Wars, but on Marvel, we're all pretty much on the same basis. We're all yeah.
Infinity War is pretty fucking great.
Yeah, but with my friends up here, it's the opposite. They're at each other's throats with Marvel, but with Star Wars, we're all But me and Tommy, I feel like this one's not going to be as interesting because really our contention comes from the
main movies.
Yeah, but even that, it's just really just the sequels, because we pretty much both agree that the first two prequels are bad in our opinions, and Revenge of the Sith is definitely better, but still not very good.
Yeah, I think we both think that Revenge of the Sith is not great. It's not a great movie, but I'd say it's probably one of the better Star Wars movies. But you still think it sucks.
I still think it's below most.
I'm just gonna turn off this fan really quick. I have a fan in my room. I'm one of those people that needs a fan to fall asleep.
A little baby, that's why.
Yeah, a little baby that has permanent ringing in his ear.
Oh right, I forgot you have that.
Yeah.
I guess how would I know? It's not like I can hear it.
You're just sitting awake and you're like, oh, I hear Tommy's ringing.
Oh, that's what he's talking about.
Oh, I get it now. So we're gonna Star Wars.
We're gonna talk about Mandalorian, the first 3 episodes of season 2, and Solo, a Star Wars story, and I want to start out by just letting the folks at home know, this shit doesn't matter. If I hate Solo or I love Solo and you have the complete opposite opinion, it doesn't fucking matter. I don't know. We talked about this in the Joker episode a little bit, but it's just for some reason Star Wars brings out the vinegar in people like nothing else.
Oh yeah. Literally I don't know, Star Wars and superhero movies, it's if you disagree with somebody, then it's oh my god, it's kind of nuts.
Yeah. But really, they're all just dumbass movies. It's fun to argue, me and Tommy, but at the end of the day, we know we're both perfectly entitled to our own opinions.
Yeah, at the end of the day, part of the reason we do this is because I think me and you we don't like to admit it, but I think we enjoy arguing with each other.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I had an argument this morning where my friend was trying to convince me that the Frosted Flakes mascot was a sports mascot, and I was saying that no, he's definitely not associated with sports, he's associated with cereal. And those are the fucking arguments that are fun to have. But what I mean is
okay, I'd say he's a cereal mascot, but he's definitely associated with sports.
Okay, I'm not having
every single Frosted Flakes commercial.
I am not
he's doing something sports like.
I am.
I'm just saying
this.
Okay.
I already had this argument today. I will not bury another friend. But yeah, so I don't know, whatever it is with Star Wars, you can love the prequels, you can hate the prequels, you can love the sequels, you can hate the sequels. I don't give a shit, because I personally think all 3 trilogies and all the spin-off movies, they're all they all have a lot of good and bad shit. Even the originals are not untouchable masterpieces.
Yeah.
Return of the Jedi is pretty fucking boring.
In one of our earlier episodes, to plug one of our earlier episodes, is the hot take episode, whatever in hot takes. That was one with Brett on it. I said that Lego Star Wars as like a concept in like video games and whatever is all around better than every single Star Wars movie. And I stand by that. I think the Star Wars movies are just like incredibly overrated.
Oh yeah,
And
I mean, most of them. Like, I love Star Wars, right? It's probably like one of my top three, like franchise or top four maybe franchises of all time. But I like there's at least like five of the movies that I don't really like that much.
yeah, and like the thing about it is like I think Star Wars as a concept is just super cool. Like the
Yeah, yeah.
space shit, like aliens and
And
like
I think
there's like
that's why
force.
people
It's so
argue is because they
cool.
want to see
But
different stuff.
well also I think the problem is it with Star Wars is just the movies kind of suck. Like the writing is really like piss poor in
Hmm.
some in some parts of it. Like it's just not good, and it's like it goes along like very like predictable tropes and very predictable storylines, and they're
Right.
just like
But that's the
not that
charm of it in
interesting.
some ways.
I think it'd be much cooler if like there was just things like if they had better storylines, like cooler things to
Hmm.
do. I don't know. I mean, that's just my opinion, but I just feel like the
The big
storylines just
takeaway I
really
mean to
suck.
say, the big thing I mean to say is no one's an authority on fucking any franchise, you know? I'm a
That's true.
bigger
Yep.
Marvel or DC fan than anybody I know. Like, that's my shit. That's the shit I know the most about. And I really don't like Thor Ragnarok. But if someone tells me they like Thor Ragnarok, like, I get it, you know? It's not like
Hmm.
a terrible thing for them to say. I
Yeah,
personally
it's the
don't like
haha
it.
funny Thor movie.
Yeah. Even Tommy likes Thor Ragnarok, and I don't.
Yeah, I don't think it's that bad.
Yeah. So, but anyway, I just want to get that out there because it's like me and Tommy might get a little heated in this debate. And I just want to, like, if Tommy hates Solo and I love Solo or vice versa, I have a feeling it's not vice versa. But like, but like, I don't give a shit. Like, it's just a dumbass movie that we don't have to
Yeah,
spend that much energy really thinking about beyond the hour it takes to record this podcast.
exactly. Like, I'm not gonna go to bed tonight, like seething and like crying myself to sleep because me and Michael disagreed.
Right.
If
Which
anything,
some
I'll
people
probably
will,
sleep
though.
better because like we were able to like get it out and flesh out our arguments.
Yeah,
I was sleeping like a
we had hateful makeup sex, and then we both slept
yeah,
like babies after our argument.
yeah,
So yeah,
exactly.
well, let's just roll right into it. I mean, we have a
Do you
lot
want
to talk about
Mandalorian
this
first
week.
or Solo first?
Mandalorian.
Okay.
Um, so I think both of us like I didn't I wasn't blown away by the last season like at all.
Yeah.
Spoilers for all of season 1 and season 2, by the way. So far, season everything up to episode 3 so far. Um, but I was not like a lot of people were like, "Oh my god, this is Star Wars like it should be," and the blah blah. And it I enjoyed it, but I was never like, "Oh my god, this is Star Wars. Like, this is what I'm looking for."
Yeah, it was good enough where I'm like, I'm happy that this is a thing. But like at the same time, I always use this word whenever I describe anything, any kind of Star Wars media, but it was overrated. Like people were like goshing and like, I remember I was looking at this list of like the top 100 TV shows. So I was like trying to look for a good TV show that I hadn't heard of. And like number 27 of the top 100 TV shows of all time was The Mandalorian. And I'm like, that's
Yeah.
just not, it's just
No, that's
not
just
the,
a little ridiculous. And
and
but I did like the ending of season 1. Like when it all kind of tied back together, I was like, "Oh yeah," cuz I think season 1 felt a lot like we were wasting a lot of time. It was more so like there were so many one-off adventures that all came back at the end, but you didn't know
well,
that
yeah.
watching it.
I was gonna say that about season two. It kind of is feeling like that for the
Hmm.
first few episodes.
Well, I don't disagree, but I want to like say like well, part of the like I kind of like that about
Mhm.
season 2 so far is like now I know what the show like is. Like I know that it's the show where like they kind of go off on these little tiny adventures and then maybe they all come together and some of them fall by the
Yeah,
wayside.
there's something that happens um, in each little adventure that somehow connects to the end.
Yeah, exactly. Um but so with this season, like now that I'm watching it, I know what to expect. Like I'm finding myself enjoying it a lot more than I did season 1. Um because like I don't know. I think I also am just finding the stuff that's happening more interesting. Like there's an actual plot this time, which is that Mandalorian, or I forget his name, but like Mando is trying to find
And
the other Mandalorians so he can find the Jedi so he can deliver Baby Yoda to them.
mhm.
Um, and now that there's like an actual plot structure, it's like cool. We know what we're getting, and we've kind of seen some progression so far. Whereas I feel like with last season, it was so much like, okay, Mandalorian has Baby Yoda. Now what? You know?
Yeah,
And it
it's
was
just like
just like,
he's kind of just fucking around with Baby Yoda. Yeah, so I kind of felt the same way. I just struggled with it because, like, there are some shows that I think it's necessary for them to have like one-off little adventures, like we're talking about, where like the main character, they're trying to do this greater thing, but something happens along the way, and they're stuck through that through like the entire episode. And I think that's like fun in some aspects. Like it happens with a lot of TV shows. My problem with the Mandalorian is that like it feels like that was kind of every episode, and there was just so much like unnecessary little side plots that really didn't matter all that much. But like there was something that happened within the side plots that would like
mm-hmm,
serve a greater purpose later down the line. But at the end of the day, it felt like, all right, then what the fuck was the point of like all that side shit? It felt like so much was just like filler garbage that like
mm-hmm,
wasn't all that necessary. It was kind of just like, oh, this is Star Wars again. This is Mandalorian being the good guy, and it's like, cool. Like I don't
mm-hmm,
care. Like I want like actual like holy shit. This is like insane. Like I don't know. I think I am most interested in TV when like the plot is just like fucking bonkers and like so much shit is going on. But this is
mm-hmm.
kind of moving at like a slow pace, and it's still
Yeah.
fun, but it's just slow.
What I do like about the show a lot though is that I fucking like I dig the runtime. Like I know a lot of people have a problem with like such short episodes. I really like it because like keeping up with it every week is not a big commitment in any way. You
Well,
know?
yeah, first episode was what, like 50 minutes, almost an hour.
Yeah.
Then the next one was like 40 something, and the
And then
next
this one
one
was
after
like
that was like only half
26.
an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So like I'm totally fine with like differing episode lengths
me
because
too.
then it's not like I find with like a lot of Netflix shows, you know, they always have 13 episodes and they always are 50 minutes each. And it's like sometimes you can really feel them like really stuffing it full just for the sake of it. Whereas I feel like with Mandalorian, so far, there hasn't been an episode where I've been like, this isn't necessary, this isn't necessary. If anything, I was like, ooh, I'd like to see more of that. But I think that's a good thing for a show to do rather than the opposite, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, I definitely agree. I think it's cool that this show is like trying out something new with different episode lengths because it shows that they're getting what they want in there and not just sticking to like what Disney says, just being like, hey, you have to make each episode this long. And that's pretty
Right.
cool to see.
Mm-hmm. But I also I've enjoyed these three episodes a lot more, I feel like, than some of the episodes in season one. Just because I found like the action set pieces to be like pretty fun, like the shootout in episode three and the part where they're taking on like the spider thingies in episode
Oh,
two,
yeah.
and the part in when they're fighting like the Alaskan bullworm in episode one of season two, which is I guess chapter 9 or some shit. But
That was an Alaskan bullworm?
I'm making a SpongeBob reference, but
Oh.
it's just I think it
Oh,
was
I'm a dumbass because I was
it.
my brain did not connect the word Alaska to Star Wars. And I'm like,
Oh, that was
I
an
thought I'd heard that.
Alaskan bull.
I was so confused. Wow.
But
I think
yeah,
my IQ
it's
dropped like
I
40
forget. I think
points
it's
in
like
that
a
one.
I think it's like a crate dragon. I don't fucking know the actual name of it,
Yeah,
but
because
like
it was some kind of dragon. That's why he said the word bullworm. I was like, what? That's not a bullworm. That's a dragon.
yeah.
But
But
yeah,
all
anyway,
I
it
know is
was
that
pretty
it's the
cool.
skeleton that C3PO and R2D2 walk by in episode 4 or something. It's the
Oh,
same like
really?
species. Yeah.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Um but so I just feel like there's been more like fun space stuff happening. And I really like the
Mhm.
guy that was wearing Boba Fett's armor and stuff. Like, and I really liked, and I
That was
think,
Boba's armor?
yeah, you
How
didn't
do you
notice
know?
that
No,
because it
I
was
didn't know that
Boba
was.
Fett's armor. He said
Oh,
he
I
got
thought it
it
was.
on Tatooine.
I didn't know it. I I guess I didn't like infer that.
Who did you think the guy at the end was?
At the end of what?
Episode 1 of season 2.
That was the guy at the end. What do you mean? The guy that like looked out at him while he was like riding away.
Yeah,
I
that
have
was
no idea
Boba
who
Fett.
that was. No way.
Yes, it was. It's the
It
actor who
was.
played. Yeah, the
I didn't
like
know
yeah,
that.
the actor who played like the young Boba Fett in Attack of the Clones.
Huh.
Yeah,
That's something else.
yeah.
I didn't know
So I think
that.
shit like that's I think shit like that's cool because unlike another Star Wars thing we're gonna talk about, like I felt this was a good way to do like references to the other movies. Like a lot of like um in episode 3 it's fucking Bo-Katan who's in the Clone Wars show, which I haven't watched, but I imagine if I had and I was a big Clone Wars fan like our friend Danny, who was in the Scott Pilgrim podcast, check it out.
Simp.
Then it would probably be a lot cooler, if I knew everything about her before watching like that episode. So I like that this is kind of, but my worry is like, is it gonna start like tying things up like too much? Like,
Yeah, because they also did the same thing with Ahsoka Tano. I don't know how to
yeah,
pronounce the last.
Ahsoka
Because
Tano.
like the moment the lady was like, "Oh, you'll meet Ahsoka," I could just like hear a collective gasp by people I wasn't watching the movie with the
Yeah,
show
right.
with, you know, which I thought was really funny because it's like
Right.
I know what they're doing here. They're trying to make everybody like cream themselves, be like,
Right.
"Oh my god, Ahsoka's in it."
But it definitely does keep my interest. Like now, I want to watch the next episode because I know Ahsoka's gonna be like in it, and I don't really.
Unless
Again,
they
I
take
have no
like
familiarity
three
with
episodes to
Ahsoka.
get there.
That's
They
what I
might do the
mean.
thing that
Is it
I
gonna
feel
be?
like that I'm here's my hot take. I think Ahsoka will be in the episode after the next one. I think they'll have a side episode while he's getting. I think
His
the ship
ship
will like
breaks down
break
or
down.
something?
Ship's gonna break down, and they'll be like, "Oh, blah blah blah," and then he'll meet like one weird character that'll somehow come back in the end. But
Mm-hmm.
then besides that, the storyline just means nothing for the overall plot.
Yeah.
And then the ship gets fixed, and then the episode after he goes there.
I don't think you're wrong, but I do.
I think that's what's gonna happen.
I
I
think
could be
this is
wrong,
a
but
better show to watch weekly than to like binge all at once. Because
yeah, I agree. I'd be pretty fucking annoyed if I had to binge it.
yeah. But I don't know. I think it's fun so far. Like I'm just enjoying it now that I know what it is and I know what like I don't know. I know like the structure and I know like this is kind of a more slow moving thing. It's not like this frantic action action packed thing. It's just a slow burn kind of TV show.
Yeah,
And I do enjoy that and I think the action's been pretty fun and engaging. And I thought the third episode was just really really fun because for the most part I find Star Wars action to be like whatever, but I thought some of the stuff they were doing in this was actually pretty cool.
yeah, I agree. For the most part, like the action is just like pretty dope, and everything looks super clean,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like very visually appealing. It just looks nice. I feel like they're
Yeah,
doing a really good job on that front. I just wish they would hire like for the amount of money Star Wars has, they should hire better story writers. That's just like I feel like I understand that they want to make it accessible to
yeah,
like
but it's
kids and
John
everything.
Favreau and Dave Filoni. How much better can you get for Star Wars? Those are like the two people who have written the best like Star Wars content. Well, not John Favreau, but like John Favreau's written fucking amazing stuff.
I just I feel like they could do better.
I don't think you
I
like
don't know.
Star Wars.
I mean, yeah, it's really true. I don't
Tommy's
know.
always
I mean, Gus Fring is in it. I wish it was more like Breaking Bad. You
yeah.
know who that is? Yeah, the
Nope.
guy who plays Gus, the Giancarlo Esposito. He
Oh yes.
he's the guy with the dark saber at the end of season 1. He
Yeah.
plays Gus Fring, which is like a main character in Breaking
Mm-hmm.
Bad.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well, and it's cool to see that like the dark saber thing is actually kind of coming back, and that
Yeah, because somebody mentioned it,
yeah,
right?
the
Oh,
the group
Bo-Katan.
of three, Bo-Katan, yeah, she mentioned that she's going, and I like that it's like that was the tease at the end of season 1, but it's not Mando who's going after it. It's like there are other people who are interested in that, but he's got his own shit going on. Like I like that
Mhm.
stuff's probably going to clash in the future. You know, like she'll probably show up
Yeah,
again whenever we see.
I just wish we would like hear more about the dark saber, right? Like they showed it once, and they were like, "All right, we are gonna blue ball you now," and
Yeah, I
not
think you
even
got to
tell
watch the
you
Clone
anything
Wars.
about it. Oh, is it in the Clone Wars?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that. Did not know that.
So I mean, I think this show is definitely catered more for like Star Wars fans who like
Yeah.
really have seen all the movies a million times, watch all the shows and blah blah blah, read comics, but it's also not inaccessible. Like if you don't give a shit about the lore, you can watch this show and just be like, yeah, this is just a fun adventure thing.
This is fun. It like definitely satisfies a Star Wars craving.
Yeah, and I
If you
think
like,
my main concern with it though is just like I like how it's just this very small story of like this guy getting the baby like where it needs to go. And I don't want it to become this thing of like, oh, now the Jedi are here and now the rebellion's involved and blah 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 and oh my god, it's a
Mhm.
terrible Sith is back and
I like that it's its own thing.
yeah, I like that it's very
You know what I mean?
small and it's just happening in this bigger universe. Like that's why I really liked um Rogue One was because it just felt like there were no Jedi. They were just the rebels, you know? And like, of course, I like the Jedi and the Sith and all that shit, but it's like kind of just nice to watch a Star Wars show where there's no lightsabers and no Force because it just opens up so much more interesting shit they can do and talk about.
Exactly.
Because every movie is about the Jedi and the Sith at some point, you know? Even Rogue One and Solo couldn't go their whole fucking runtime without someone whipping out a lightsaber at the very end.
I think one of the things about Star Wars is I even think that Mandalorian's a little bit like this. That they're very, very like focused on the motifs. I don't even know if that's the correct use of the word. Um, correct. They're focused on like the themes of like good and evil a lot, and I
Mm-hmm.
feel like every single like movie, every single episode of Mandalorian, every every like sort of scene is somehow tied into the greater themes of good versus evil.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like it gets a little bit old after a while. You know what I
Well,
mean?
yeah, because it's nice to see like really gray characters
And yeah,
in the
that's why
series.
I like certain great characters. Like I think Mando was a little bit like that in the beginning, but I feel like they've been pushing him more and more and more towards like he's
Towards
the
like being
good
just
guy.
yeah,
You
and
know?
that's natural when you have a series. You know, obviously at one point he's gonna develop. You can't have a series where he
Yeah.
is stoic the whole time. But like characters like I know you don't really remember this movie, but Rogue One, um, Cassian. What was wrong?
Just ripped the most worst smelling fart. It smells so bad. Oh my god. Yeah,
Right.
sorry, go on.
The character of Cassian Andor in Rogue One, who is on the rebel side, but he like kills someone for information at the very beginning. Like not like a stormtrooper or anything. Like he just kills like some random like citizen guy, and it's like, oh, it's cool to see like the good guys doing shitty things, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love like more of that because like the whole appeal of Star Wars is that it's like this seedy underworld, you know, with like crime bosses and like bounty hunters and all this shit. And I love seeing like how like pretty much everyone is just like fucked up and it's really this like dirty, like scheming feeling universe. And
Yeah.
I think they can get so wrapped up with doing the whole Jedi Sith thing that they forget that like what made A New Hope so successful was that it was like a science fiction movie where like the world felt like dirty and not like shiny and new. And and that's the shit that's really cool. And that's why, you know, I think that's why I like a lot of the Star Wars things I like and dislike the things I don't, is because some of them just feel too like shiny and new and so focused on the Jedi that they forget like there's this whole fucking universe of interesting shit to do with like even, you know, in 5 years or whatever when Disney decides to make new movies again, maybe not episode 10, 11, and 12, but just like new movies set in the universe, I guarantee you it's going to be about the Jedi.
Yep. It's like it's like what you said. It's like it's too much about Jedi, and or somehow it somehow relates to the Jedi at the end of the day. Like even if it's not specifically about the Jedi, like Solo was, it somehow relates to the rebellion versus the Sith, and it's just like,
Yeah.
oh my god, give it a fucking break, guys! Like they are
um,
milking it so hard.
yeah. But in regards to Mandalorian, I'm still enjoying it so far, and it's like I don't know. It's a pretty like just chill show to be like, oh, it's Friday. I'll watch Mandalorian. Put it on. Takes half an hour of my time. Turn it off. Maybe something cool happens. Maybe something doesn't. But it's not really a show where you have to like be like, okay, this character's doing this and this is doing this. Like it's just like an
Pretty
adventure.
laid back show. It is a pretty
Yeah,
laid back show. I'll give you
which
that.
I
I wish it was a
like.
little bit more, but
Yeah.
I respect it for what it is.
Mm-hmm. So I say for episodes 1, 2, and 3 of season 2 so far, I think they're all Chads. Tommy.
Yeah, I think episode 3 was a Chad. Episodes 1 and 2, I'm gonna say were bad just because I was just like kind of bored.
Yeah,
I was
I
just
feel
like,
that. I think episode 1
you
was
know,
the worst of the 3, in my
yeah.
opinion. Oh my
It
god,
was
I
just like,
almost.
all right, we're gonna kill this bullworm. I'm gonna get my. I also like in the beginning of the episode, he's just like, you help me. What is it? He's like, you help me destroy the worm, and I'll give you the gear. And I'm like, okay. I feel like what's gonna happen is they're gonna destroy the worm. The Mano's gonna be like, you can keep the gear to protect the town, and then he just keeps the gear, and then Mano just takes the gear from him at the end of it, which I thought was really funny. He just gives no
Yeah,
shit.
which is I do. That's what I like. I like Mando and Baby Yoda, and they really need to give him a fucking name because I'm so tired of saying Baby Yoda,
The
even though I know.
child.
Yeah, but that's not a name though.
It's the child.
Ugh, fuck off.
Yeah.
Solo.
So
So let's do non-spoilers first because this is only 2 years old, which feels weird because it feels like it should be a lot older. But that's our rule: 3 years or younger, spoiler-free part. If it's older than that, watch the fucking movie yourself. Um, so I this movie's so okay. So let me paint the picture. Right, 2018 May, Last Jedi had come out. Actually, no. Let me go back further.
that was not. Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
2015, Force Awakens came out. Shut your fucking mouth while I'm talking about this. Okay, I don't need you butting in right here. I'm getting to a point.
Yeah. Go for it.
Force Awakens came out. Everybody loved it. 2016 rolls around. Rogue One came out. Everybody was just like happy Star Wars was back. 2017, Last Jedi came out. Some people really liked it. Some people were just neutral on it. And a lot of people really hated it. After that, suddenly it wasn't exciting to see Star Wars movies coming out anymore. So this movie fell right into that area where it was not even December of 2018, but May of 2018. Solo was coming out, and it had like severe behind the scenes troubles, and it had really lackluster trailers. And I went into it with my dad because he's a big Star Wars fan, and he's like, we're gonna go see the new Star Wars movie. That's what we always do. And we went and saw it, and I walked out of it, and I was like, that was a lot better than I was expecting. Like a full calendar year goes by. I haven't watched the movie again since. I popped it in. I was like, I mean, yeah, it's like fine. It's fun, but whatever. Then 2 days ago, I watched it again for the podcast, and I was like, okay, yeah, this movie is like really mid, like very, very mid. Like it is just so unremarkable in a lot of regards. And I'm curious to see what your
Yeah. So I think I would actually agree that it was pretty unremarkable. I think my favorite part about it was easily by far and away Donald Glover. Donald Glover as Lando. I just like every time he was in a scene, I'm like, oh, I like got on the edge of my seat because he's just a great person all around. Makes great music, but also just he brought so much like personality to that character. Like Donald Glover brought so much more personality to Lando than I think any other actor brought to their character. And it was just
I
every scene that he was in, I was just like, I'm enjoying this so much more because
mm,
he's in this.
I kind of disagree though. I really like the actor for young Han. He I think
I
okay,
thought
so
he was
like
just very vanilla. I was just like, yeah, this is paper cookie cutter. I felt like if there
nah,
was, let's say, 100, hear me out. If 100 years in the future, they make like a Han Solo machine that will give you your Han Solo, but it's just a robotic version of Han Solo. I feel like that's that's like the kind of thing that was put in the movie. I
isn't that
just
a
felt
good
like he
thing
was
though? They
just,
wanted someone who acted like Han Solo
but
to
I
be
wanted
Han
someone to
Solo.
bring something. But yeah, I'm sure he was just Han Solo, but he didn't do anything that made me be like, wow, like that guy stood out. I'm just like, yeah, he acted like
I
Han
don't know. I
Solo,
feel like he did.
and
I
that
feel like
was it.
he had really good
Um,
line delivery as Han, which I was surprised
oh,
about because
there was one line that like really got me. She like, this is, I mean, we'll do it later because it was a spoiler, but we'll do it later.
okay, but I don't know. I think he was like when you cast a young version of a beloved character like that, you just expect to hate it, right? You know, everyone goes in and they're like, it's gonna be like bad. He's not gonna be Harrison Ford. But I think that he brings enough new stuff to the table where it doesn't feel like I'm watching Harrison Ford. Like it doesn't feel like he's doing an impression of Harrison Ford, which is what I really like about him.
Yeah, I disagree. I felt like it just kind of felt like he was trying to be Harrison Ford.
No, I don't feel like that at all. But I'm curious, like, why do you feel like that?
I don't know. I just felt like some of the lines, like he was just trying to act a certain way. I have no other way to explain it. But I don't know. I don't think he did a bad job. It's just like, I don't know. I just wish there was something more. But
But
I
in
don't know.
some
It's not like that was like the biggest problem in the movie. I was just like, okay, this
no,
guy's
no, but
fine.
I'm saying in
That's just
some
kind of
capacity he has to act like Harrison Ford, but I do still feel like he was a lot more like youthful and a lot more
yeah.
like a
It's not
lot
hard to
more
act
like
youthful
naive
compared
and
to
jovial.
Harrison Ford.
Well, okay, yes, Tommy, but I'm saying he did bring some new energy, which I found refreshing because it would have been really boring to watch the movie if he was just literally doing a Hans or a Harrison Ford impression and being like, "Damn it, Chewie, we gotta, oh no, the thingy's out. Go fix it, you dumb hairy bitch." Like instead, he's like nicer
He
and
is a little
more
bit
like
goofy. Yeah, I agree.
yeah, he's a little
Yeah,
more
you know,
goofy and you
I would agree. I guess he's not totally different. I'm sorry. I guess he's not totally the same. It's just I don't know. I just the whole time watching it, I didn't have any moment where I was just like, this guy stood out. You know what I mean?
yeah, I don't think he's necessarily a standout, but I would say I think, a lot of people were like mad at him, but I think he did a great job with what he was given, because this
Sure.
movie was under two different directors who were fired and everything was changed and
Yeah.
all this shit and like, two different like with two different visions, like that's gonna fuck up the movie a lot. And for the most part, I enjoy watching Han when he's on screen and Chewie and Lando. It's more so the other characters that I have the problems with, which
Hmm.
I'm curious to get your opinion on. Um, because I like Woody Harrelson. I think he's pretty good. He doesn't
Yeah, he
stand
was
out
pretty
to
good.
me at all, but he's fine.
He was Woody
Uh,
Harrelson. Yeah.
yeah, and he serves the plot and he does his thing. Who I really didn't like was Amelia Clark because I thought her character just
Yeah.
made very little
Uh,
sense.
it was really weird because she like they did this thing where like she was very like you could tell that how do I explain it? It felt like she completely changed like characters when she went from Corellia, is that what it was called?
Yeah,
Corellia to wherever they were
yeah,
afterwards.
to
Like when
that
she was
ship.
like hi, when she said
Yeah,
hi, I straight up thought like, oh, that's just a different person. And then I was
mm,
like, oh wait, it's not a different person. But she's acting like she's just not the same person. And
right.
then she was
So
like,
this
I
is
had to do things I'm not proud of. I've changed so much. But then they never explained how that was. It
mm-hmm.
was like, what?
Yeah. So like at first I was like, okay, it's been 3 years. Like obviously there's going to be some difference, but um, like she um I don't know. It feels like when you meet her, like, oh, she's like kind of under this guy's thumb and can't really speak her mind and all this shit, right? But then they leave and she kind of doesn't change all that much. She's kind of still
Yeah.
weird and
You could tell
quiet
that
and
she was just like, I don't like you, Han. But then like they never even like it was
Mm,
very implied that she just like wasn't down for hanging out with Han anymore.
right. I
But then
think
they never like
I got the sense that she cared about him, but like had her own shit going on. And
yeah, and then they're
um,
just like I don't. It was just weird. Her character was not, it was just weird. I had no other
yeah,
way to explain it.
yeah, and the droid, like I feel like Star Wars movies can really be saved by a good droid. Like say what you want about Force Awakens, but
The
you
droid that
gotta like
died, you mean?
BB-8, right?
Yeah, maybe it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So and Rogue One, you got K2SO, and then in Solo, this one's just I don't know.
It also felt like really kind of weird. Like I don't know how exactly the casting worked, but I'm not gonna lie, it didn't seem like it was that diverse of a cast. And then like the one person that the droid was like talking to about equal rights was like the one black guy in the movie, and
Mm.
it just felt like very like distasteful.
Yeah.
Like it
Well,
was
I get
like
what they
this is
were.
like yeah, I understand what they were going for, but it felt like it was clear that like a white person wrote that and just had no like cognizance of like what was actually going on. Because like
Mm.
the only person that the droid would like turn to Donald Glover and be like, "I need rights. Like I'm not being treated equally." It was like, bro, like he's the only black person in the movie. Gosh.
um. Yeah, but I do think so. For me, and without getting into spoilers quite yet, I'm gonna wrap it up in a second. But for me, the first two like thirds of this movie, I think are like perfectly enjoyable, just like fun kind of Star Wars shenanigans. Um,
Mhm.
but the third act just like puts a fucking anchor on it and drags it into the mud. Like
Oh my god.
it hits the brakes so hard and for no reason, and it
It was just
really,
like the third act was just like you're talking about after the castle run, right?
yeah.
Yeah, it just felt like it came out of everything just felt like it came out of not even just left field, but like behind the plate. Like it was like from foul ball territory to it was just like the most like insane shit that came out. Like
Yeah,
everything's like,
the
oh, this
umpire
is
hit you
happening.
over the head with a bat.
Yeah, literally. It was just like, what the fuck is this? Like, what am I watching? It was just so much like little things happened
um,
that like made no sense or added very little. And it's like,
right.
what the hell?
But is it enough to ruin the movie for you? I mean, that's up to you. If you still like this movie with that dumbass third act, or if you think the third act is great, which I don't, like, good for you. But I personally think that it really drags the movie down and turns it from like a fun time into just like a chore by the end. But if you shut it off after the Kessel Run, honestly, I would watch just that part of the movie, honestly, because what the end like third of the movie is like set up for more movies that are never gonna happen.
Yeah, and I hope they don't happen because the setups were just so out of there, and they were so bad that I'm just like I don't even want to watch what the like how the hell are they going to tie all this together?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to talk about spoilers now?
Yeah, so here's what I'm thinking, Tommy. We should probably say chat or bad before the spoilers section in case like people.
Bad. I'm gonna call it bad.
Okay, I'll say I'm gonna give it just on the slight edge of chat, but it's right down the middle for me. I don't really care about this movie.
Okay.
Okay, spoilers.
Yeah. So the third act was insane because that weird person Enfi's nest. I was just
Mm-hmm.
like, they all came to there, and then I'm like, oh shit, something's about to go down. And then the second she took off her helmet, I'm like, she's gonna be a good guy. Like I already knew. Like the
Right.
moment she
Yeah.
took off her helmet, and I'm like, yep, these are like
Mm-hmm.
our friends now.
And there's
And
things
then,
about that third act that I don't really hate. Like I like the double cross from Beckett, right? And I like that Han shoots him first. Like that's a cool callback and that's fun. What I don't
oh
like is
yeah,
like the fucking process it takes to get to just that shit.
and it was also there was oh my god, the whole scene with them in that final room in that like tower. That
Mm-hmm.
whole shit was just so like I feel like they were trying to make it be like a lot smarter than it actually was. They're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, we know that Beckett's gonna double cross us, so we're gonna act. Or we know like what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring fake coaxium to the thing, but we know Beckett's gonna cross us. So what we're gonna do. we're gonna bring the real coaxium. And it's like, why do you need to do that? Like, why wouldn't they just put it in a safe place, like away from it all? Like, didn't
Right.
that make like a lot more sense to do?
Mm-hmm. Um. Yeah. So I think the Darth Maul thing, it just comes out of nowhere, and
It literally comes out of nowhere.
it's
It's
literally
so
just for the audience to go, "Hey, Darth Maul,"
yeah, literally.
you
I
know,
didn't
and
understand any of it. And
yeah, I think it's really stupid, but
why was what's her name again? Kira.
Kira, yeah.
Um, she was like they like Han and her made out after she killed Dryden or whatever his name was. And then I'm like, okay, I guess we're gonna see. I bet what's gonna happen is she's probably gonna die, and that's how like things end off between them. And then
Mm-hmm.
she's like, I'll be right behind you. And then she calls Darth Maul, and then he's like, we will work together. And then she just leaves, and then that's it. And I'm
Yeah.
like, what the fuck is
So
that
that's what
ending?
I mean. That's what I said earlier. Like, I got the sense that they thought they were going to get sequels out of this, and they didn't. So now this movie, like, here's the thing: if they knocked out all that setup for later movies, all the shit with Enfys Nest, all the shit with Darth Maul, then this movie would be like just like it would at least work on its own. But now you have all these loose threads that will never go anywhere because Disney was like, Star Wars makes money, so we're just going to put a bunch of shit in it and it'll make money no matter what, and then we'll make more, you know. And this movie didn't make money, and now the movie itself suffers because Disney definitely forced those decisions to be made. You know, it's like what I always
Yeah,
like. Star Wars, when Force Awakens came out, it felt like an event. Even when Last Jedi came out, it felt like an event. Now Star Wars doesn't feel like an event anymore. It's just like, oh fuck, Star Wars is coming out.
it's like, oh god, I'm gonna have to watch this again.
um,
Like, just
and
take
I
my
think this movie,
$11
this
already.
this movie was the start of it, without a doubt, because it was so just fatiguing at that
It
point to
would
get so many
it
Star Wars
just
movies that
felt.
quick.
I felt like this movie just felt like it didn't know like where it wanted to go. Like I felt
Mm-hmm.
like they were writing it as they went along, and also like it also just felt like kind of predictable. Like during this movie, in the beginning, I was like, you know what? I have this weird feeling that they're somehow going to explain the Kessel Run. You know, because he's like, I did the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs, and I know that's like a big meme with people. And I was like, I bet they'll probably add that to this thing because that's just like what Disney would do, and they did it. And that's not a problem, but it just felt predictable in a lot of
So
other
I don't.
aspects.
So here's the thing. That's another big problem I have with this movie. Is there's so much just like fan service in it that sucks.
Mm.
One thing on the contrary, though, is if you told me when I went to see this movie that the Kessel Run was going to be in it, I would just be like, oh, that's just going to be so fucking stupid and bad, and like, why even show it? It's like a throwaway line in A
Yeah,
New Hope. Like, it's not meant to have this whole backstory. But I definitely think the Kessel Run's like the most fun part of this movie
it's
to
a pretty good
watch.
part. Yeah,
You know, and I honestly I don't hate that they put it in because I think that's fun. What I do hate is like we have to see the origin of Han's gun. We have to see the origin of Han's fucking name. Why is Solo not
oh,
just
you're
his
alone?
last name?
You're so it's like so
I'm like,
stupid.
always just thought it was his last name. Like, why is that even a thing? Why can't it just be his name? It has to be,
I don't. It
you're
was
Han and you're not traveling with other people, so you must be Han Solo.
it was so Han by himself.
Han all alone.
Oh, sorry. We'll just do Solo.
Well, yeah, Solo
Um,
probably sounds better.
yeah, it was just like it was so stupid. There's so many parts, or not so many, but there were definitely some parts that like did that.
Well, yeah,
And
like
sometimes
Beckett's like,
like I
here's your
like
gun, kid. And it's like, I guess that's how he got his gun. Cool.
yeah,
Like,
and there were some like origin stories that with Han, and I'm like, okay, you should probably expand it, like Chewie. And I liked that.
mhm.
I like that they're just like the Beast, and then it turned out to be Chewbacca. And I'm like, oh, that's
Yeah,
cool. Um,
I like him and
but then
Chewie a
there are
lot in this
also
movie.
yeah. I didn't like so when Beckett explains that like oh yeah, there's this job on Tatooine. There's a gangster putting it together like a group of people. Was
Mhm.
that like the Obi-Wan and Luke thing?
No, that was the job that gets the bounty put on Han's head at the beginning of A New Hope. Remember, he's in debt to Jabba, so he's going. to do the job for him that's gonna end up like putting a bounty on his head and causing all sorts of trouble or whatever. That was just all that was.
So yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. It just felt like it wasn't that much time. Like him and Chewie like just met. He just got the Millennium Falcon, but then like in A New Hope, it seems like they've been friends forever.
Yeah. I think it's like 10 years.
Yeah.
I think it's like 10 years, which is stretching it, but you know, it's not any worse than any other time inconsistencies in Star Wars, because like Obi-Wan ages like fucking 30 years and 10 years, you know, like,
yeah, you're right.
So like that shit's just in it, and it's for better or worse. But I really like Han and Chewie in this movie, and I really like that kind of. Oh, that's another scene I did like a lot. The gambling scenes with Lando.
Yeah.
I just thought that those were fun, like cool, like card games, and Lando's cheating, and it's cool to see how he won the Falcon and stuff. And one of the callbacks. Sorry, you go.
Okay, so I was gonna say one of my favorite lines in the movie. I don't remember it exactly, but it was when what was her name? Kira had Han on the ground, and she was just like, she said some line and then turned around and started fighting Dryden, and then like Han like ran over to get his gun, and then like he looked back, and then like Kira had already killed her, and then she said something like, "Oh, sorry, I killed him before you did," and then he's like, no, I mean, it's fine. You did. So, I mean, you know, and he just seemed like it was like something that like a real person would actually say. It was just such a funny line. He was just like, yeah, I mean,
yeah,
you did it. I thought it was so funny. Because like every other line in that movie was like had to be like very overly dramatic. Like, I killed him. He's like, oh, I love you, you know. And then that was just such a it felt like very improvised. I really liked that part, but
right.
But yeah, besides that, you can say what you're gonna say.
So one of the lines I actually really like is it's a callback to a line from the original trilogy, but I don't fucking hate it because there's shitty ones in there. Like when he's like, "I have a good feeling about this." It's like, okay, it's because he always says he has a bad feeling. Now he's saying he has a good feeling. No, but not that one. I like the one where they crash the Millennium Falcon, and he's like, Lando's like, "I hate you," and he's like, I know. Like, I thought that was a really good callback. That was just like a funny line. And I also just like that the Millennium Falcon is like brand new and beautiful, and then Han and Chewie get hold of it, and it's so fucking beat up and fucked up. It's really funny.
Yeah, I also oh god, I'm gonna stand. Don't go over this, but every like line with him, he was just like when he was talking to Beckett. And he was just like, he's like, oh, there's something wrong with my ship. Do you think you could fix it? And he's like, yeah, but I'm going to have to knock your percent from 25 to 20. And he's like, I don't like it. I don't like you. But I'm okay with that. And he just shakes his head. It was really funny.
Yeah, he's cool. And, you know, that's what I think this movie did well was like those two, I think, were cast well, and they work well off each other. And that's the sad part about this movie's plot being what it is like now we're prevented from seeing any more content from them, because like if this was just like some smuggler adventure, if this movie's whole plot was to do the Kessel Run to get the bounty off of Beckett's head and that's where it ended, this movie would be fun as fuck, you know? But instead,
yeah,
it's just you know, the real fun stuff in the movie ends halfway through, or like, you know, 2/3 of the way through. And then you have this like slog fest of like, okay, everyone's betraying everybody, and this person's like, everyone just needed to die except Han, Chewie, and Lando. You know, that's what needed to happen, just because that's the best explanation.
I completely agree.
You know.
Also, side question: what is coaxium, and like, what does it do?
I think it's the hyper fuel.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, I don't fucking know.
Okay, because I don't. They might have explained it, but like, for as important as it was, I feel like they should have like explained it a little bit more, like, or at least like referred back to it a few times.
Yeah,
they're just like coaxium. I need my coaxium. It's like it's just kind of annoying.
Yeah, I think it's the hyperspace fuel because they like put it in the engine and it like kicks them out of that.
Yeah, that probably makes sense.
But yeah, I mean, this movie, like, it's just nothing really to me. Like, it's just so, like, I defend the Disney Star Wars movies like a lot, but
Yeah, religiously.
religiously, fuck off. And for the most part, I stick to that. I like Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and Rogue One, but it's this one in Rise of Skywalker that I'm just like, it makes my case harder to have because these two movies exist. Granted, this isn't even the one of those you like the least.
No, I mean, I'm trying to think about like where I'd rate it. It's probably like a 2-star movie, but I honestly believe that Donald Glover wasn't in it. It'd probably be like 1.5. I just wish he was like in more of the movie because he really killed it. But
I think it's
yeah,
better than
I don't
Force
know.
Awakens.
Yeah, well, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I probably enjoyed it a little bit more.
You just hate fun, Tommy.
That's not true. It's not true.
You fucking hate fun.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was fine, and this would probably be a movie that I would love if I was like 7.
That's what I mean.
But
Is it really much worse than fucking Revenge of the Sith? I don't know. To me, they're both on the same level of just like pretty middle of the road but enjoyable things. But I think the problem with the difference is Revenge of the Sith goes up through its runtime, but Solo goes down. Like Solo peaks in the middle, and Revenge of the Sith peaks at the end, which makes watching Revenge of the Sith a lot more satisfying because that's what you're left with. But when you watch Solo,
the beginning is not that bad.
No, I didn't say that,
like,
but I mean like that the peak is the end.
Oh yeah, you're right. It definitely peaks at the end.
And but with this one, it's like what you're left with is that boring ass last 30 minutes, which is like the really important part to nail. Because like think of a movie like Infinity War, where the ending just like floors you the first time you see it. You're like, holy shit.
Yeah, that was just like, yeah.
And then you have this movie where you just walk out and it's like a whimper. And I think nailing the end of a movie is so much more important than nailing the beginning. Because like you can
we're gonna have to do an episode on Infinity War. I need to watch it. It's like so good. It is so good, dude. Just really? Like the ending
just leaves you so shocked.
Oh, and it's like it's consistently like great the entire time.
It just like the whole time.
It does not have a low moment. It like literally I can't think of one low moment. Oh god, that movie. No, I can't really either.
My least favorite part of the movie, and we're talking about Infinity War instead of Solo now, but whatever. But my like least favorite part of the movie is probably like the opening, but I still love the opening, and it just gets better from there on out, which is the best way to do a movie because you're getting more and more engaged as you go, or like Empire Strikes Back, where the ending is just like, whoa, the first time you see it. Maybe not on rewatch as much, but like, I don't know. This movie's whatever. But I do know people who like.
If you're a dumb little baby bitch, you'll like this movie.
Well, one of my friends up here, it's his favorite Star Wars movie.
That's hilarious.
And I'm like,
I don't blame them. They're not.
No, I mean, I don't personally get it, but like,
yeah.
Why is anything my favorite anything? This shit just like it's all fucking subjective. So who gives a shit? Mm-hmm. Can you really explain like why your favorite song is your favorite song? I'm getting poetic here, but like, why does the wind blow?
Well, because like this doesn't have to do with the song.
What?
I think it has to do with the sun. I feel like I don't know. I feel like I've heard that somewhere. That it's like because of the sun, like winds exist because of the sun for some reason.
Yeah, I know. I'm being.
But you know what I mean.
I'm being the poet here.
Yeah, you're being a little nerd.
But what I mean is like you cannot explain on a factual level like fucking Ben Shapiro.
Yeah, why you like things. Yeah, facts. In this case, facts are my feelings.
Yeah. No, exactly. Well, like your favorite movie is Finding Nemo, right? But you can't, or at least your second favorite movie, but you can't
There's
That's
some
because
things
it hits
about it.
you emotionally, but it
Yeah.
just might not have that effect on other people.
Yeah. So like I definitely now like understand what you're talking about. Like when you think about your favorite things, you can definitely talk about why they're your favorite. But at the end of the day, there's something inexplicable about why you
Mm-hmm.
like it so much. And that's how you know you really enjoy something. When you just like at the end of the day, you're just like, I don't know, I just love it. Like it's great.
Yeah, I mean, everything has this kind of appeal. Like, why, when I was a kid, did I latch onto superheroes and I'm still at 20 years old watching everything? I'm sure I could try and break it down into a fucking bullet point list, but that takes like
Mhm.
all the fun out of it. Because there are some things
Yeah.
you just like. Like, why is like Superman and Spider-Man and Batman like my favorite, but like characters like the Punisher and Deadpool I just don't like. I don't know, because I know a lot of people in my personal life whose favorites are Punisher and Deadpool, and it's like they're not wrong. They're just dumb. I'm
They're
kidding.
just fucking idiots.
They're just stupid.
Yeah.
But
Like I think
you know
about
what I
like,
mean?
why do I have such like I don't know, I don't know.
Like
But
think
I
of
know
a
what you mean.
band you hate that's really popular. Obviously, they're popular for a reason because
Mhm.
some people really
People
like
like
them.
them,
Yeah, like I don't fuck. I can't think of an example. Ed Sheeran. Sorry for all the Ed Sheeran stans listening, but like
which is all of the people listening.
they're all huge Ed Sheeran fans. We just
It's
lost our
just
entire base.
Ed Sheeran's listening.
Uh, but yeah, that wraps up. I think our solo thoughts, uh,
Yeah.
or our duo thoughts. Get it? Because we're doing this together. Anyway, what have you what have you been watching this week, Tommy?
So, you know this. I've been watching a lot of stuff recently,
You
which is
have.
sick. Yeah, believe it or not, I've kind of been on the grind.
Oh.
So let me just how do I get this? Oh, here we go. So since Borat, which was our last episode, right?
Yep.
I've watched Back to the Future. Um, I'm just gonna read off my little review for it because I
Wait,
thought
had
it
you
was kind
not
of
seen
funny.
Back to the Future, or have you?
No, I have. I just didn't log it. I wrote high school boy goes back in time to make out with his mom. I realized like that's kind of like what happens.
Yeah, well, that's that John
And
Mulaney bit.
he literally is that really what it was?
Yeah,
Did
John
John
Mulaney
Mulaney
has
say
like a
that?
whole bit about Back to the Future, how the plot is that he goes back in time and tries not to fuck his mom.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well, that makes me seem like all right, whatever. I also watched Finding Dory, and I fell asleep like for like 10 minutes or 20 minutes in the
How'd you
middle of
give it
it.
2.5 if you fell asleep?
I don't know. It's probably it. I'll probably knock it down. Um, dude, it was just insane because like with Finding Nemo, it was so great because like I feel like it's also like an educational movie for like I don't know a kid that's like interested. I imagine like if I was a kid and I watched Finding Nemo, I might develop a huge interest about fish or like the sea afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
But with Finding Dory, it's like the ending is literally an octopus drives a truck into the ocean that frees all the fish. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like I just felt it was really funny to see that, but like in retrospect, it's like that's just so fucking absurd and stupid. Um,
Oh,
I,
dude,
I,
stop rustling your microphone against whatever you're rustling it against.
oh, I'm sorry, I have a blanket on. My bad. Um, I watched Airplane again. Um, I just love the quote. They bought the tickets. They knew what they were getting into. I say, let them crash. This it's like when they're doing all the news clippings and there's like
Yeah.
that guy, the political guy who's like, and it's called counterpoints, and he's just giving a counterpoint for like the fucking plane that's gonna crash.
So funny.
Then I also watched Moana, which is like fine. Um,
I love the music.
I don't know. Yeah, the music was pretty good. I liked the You're Welcome song.
I like How Far I'll Go. It's so good. It's like
Yeah.
it's so powerful. Tommy hates
And then
women.
true. No, it's not true. Um, and then finally, I watched this documentary that I had to watch for class. That was called For Sama. It's about like the Syrian civil war, and it was really like heartbreaking and nice movie, but like it was basically about this like woman, this mother who was filming a movie for her baby called Sama, and it was during the Syrian civil war crisis, and she was just trying to like have a bunch of videos to show her daughter when the daughter finally grew up and they were like out of the war.
Yeah.
It's really sad to see because they're like pretty disturbing stuff in it. Like you see hospitals getting bombed and like some pretty egregious stuff that's going on like within the hospitals with all the, like the people that are coming in off the streets. And it just like really puts into perspective like holy shit, like that's actually happening.
Yeah, that was a real thing. Yeah,
like this isn't, and it was pretty phenomenal, just like the amount of stuff that was captured. But yeah, that was definitely one of the highlights movies I saw. How about you?
I watched a couple things. For starters, I've been rewatching Daredevil, the Netflix TV show, and it is truly fucking amazing. It is some of the best content that exists for a superhero just ever. Like, it is such a like picture perfect representation of the comic books and just like elevates it so much. It's just so good. If you haven't seen Daredevil season 1 at least, because I know season 2 is like pretty mixed, but season 1 is just an absolute fucking banger. Season 3 is as well, but I haven't gotten back there yet. But it just fucking slaps so hard. On that same note, Spider-Man Miles Morales came out, and I had played and beat that. Yeah,
already.
It's pretty great. It's you know, it's not quite as good as the first game because it's just not as long and there's just not as much content in it. So it's kind of a meme that it costs $50 because it's like definitely nowhere near the amount of content as the first game, which was only 60. But the story is great. It's a great Miles story. The swinging is awesome. The gameplay is a lot of fun. I imagine it'll be even better on PS5. Like, because I played it on PS4 because the Walmart site kept crashing. I couldn't get a fucking PS5. But it really is like if you love Spider-Verse and specifically Miles in that movie, you'll definitely like this storyline for him because it's very similar in tone, but has a lot of different stuff going on, which is really good. But in terms of movies, I watch The Devil All the Time, which came out this year as a 2020 movie with Tom Holland and Robert Pattinson, and it was so much worse than I ever anticipated. It was really bad. It was just so boring, so not interesting, so convoluted. But Tom Holland and Robert Pattinson were pretty good. So there's that. Obviously, I watched Solo for the podcast, and then last night I watched The Muppets again.
Yeah, you're a big Muppet stan.
I am. And my 5-star review says the Muppets could write Hey Jude, but the Beatles could not write Rainbow Connection, which I stand by.
Well, also, Hey Jude is not that amazing of like a.
I just tried to pick the most popular Beatles song.
Tommy. Yeah, but you failed.
Well, Tommy, if I'm gonna make a joke, right? I'm not gonna pick like an obscure Beatles song that I really like. I'm gonna pick one that everyone knows, so everyone gets the joke. So fuck you. Is what I'm saying. But yeah, so pretty solid week, I gotta say. Besides Devil All the Time.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch that because it's a 2020 movie. So, you know. And also, like, what the fuck are we gonna do for like 2020 movies? Like, we're gonna at the end of the year, we're gonna have to have like a best and worst of 2020.
Ones. Yeah, there are good ones you could watch though.
I think once I get back from school, I'm just gonna grind 2020 movies.
Yeah,
like
Birds of Prey, Invisible Man, Palm Springs.
I don't think I have a single 20. I don't think I have a single like 4-star 2020 movie. Not a single one.
I don't think you do. I have a couple. I got a bunch actually. But for the most part, this year's been whack as fuck because of COVID.
Yeah, I mean, I can't blame them,
Yeah.
But I'll try to see what's around. I'll find something.
Mm-hmm. On that note, we're supposed to say this at the beginning, but follow our Twitter and follow our Instagram.
Yeah, if anybody's listening.
Yeah, which you're not.
Yeah. We can say anything right now.
We could. I'm not gonna. next week's episode, Thanksgiving. So we're gonna do a little tier list.
Yeah, we'll do a little tier list. I'm actually very excited for that.
Yeah, and we're gonna do my favorite Thanksgiving movie, um, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I guess saying that's my favorite Thanksgiving movie makes it sound pretty bad because there's no other ones. But probably my favorite comedy ever, though, and also just
Wow.
the best movie to watch at Thanksgiving.
Okay. Yeah, I've
Yeah,
never seen it, so I'm actually really excited to watch it.
yeah. I hope you like it because I find it hilarious. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, so tune in next week. Thanks for listening if you're still here. Um, yeah. Bye.